Okay, right, let's make a start. As I mentioned before, this presentation will be recorded and the link to the presentation will be made available afterwards. I'm going to do a live demonstration of the remote access solutions from ProSoft Technology. I'm using our power user plan, which has the advanced virtual lockout tagout facility, which I'll demonstrate to you as well. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give a brief introduction to the remote connectivity solution and then do a live demonstration and then summarize the information. So ProSoft Connect service will allow you to reduce your machine downtime by being able to remotely access the machine. Also increase your productivity and efficiency through optimizing the systems. It can provide a secure, anytime, anywhere remote access simply by using your web browser, and reduce your service costs and support by reducing the travel time to and from site, and hopefully increase your profitability. Now, ProSoft Connect is a cloud-native platform. What that means is there's no software or drivers to install on the actual system itself. It uses the operating system VPN, so you just need to configure that. And it is aligned with IEC and also NIST, so it's secure. And we routinely penetration test it, as well as applying to a third-party company to test our services as well for any kind of security. It's highly available. We're using Amazon Web Services. And as I mentioned before, there's no installation, maintenance, or licenses required because there's no software to install, so there's no need to update your system for vulnerabilities, that sort of thing. And it uses a layer 2 VPN connection, which we are calling EasyBridge, which enables you to basically use all your discovery services from your system, such as Unity Pro or RS2 or TIA Portal, to actually go out and discover what's on the network. We've got a range of gateways. One is the 4G version, which basically for those systems where there isn't a LAN-based network and it's purely over a 4G network. It can be used with your standard VPN, such as OpenVPN. So you may have an existing corporate VPN that you wish to connect to and just use our unit as a client. It can also be used for serial and Ethernet data, and it's just the usual power systems as well. The system that I'll be talking to you today is going to be using the PLX35, which is our LAN-based network. So you can have two Ethernet ports. One is for the local area network, and one's for the wider area network. It can basically support 32 connections, and so you can have this sort of configuration here. So you may have a system which you need to remotely access into it using your PLC configuration software, go through the firewalls into the network itself to actually see the PLC, etc. So you can actually decrease your support level by reducing your costs by remotely troubleshooting the application. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the live demo. So what we need to do first is we need to plug into the unit through the Ethernet port, and then you need to access the built-in web page of the PLX35. It does have a standard IP address, which is default. But I've already configured the IP addresses here, so I'm going to choose that one, 10.1. to access the web page itself. So here you can see the gateway web page. It's a very simple gateway, so there's not much to configure on this one. The 4G version, you need to add the APN settings for your SIM card, but this is a lot more straightforward because it's plugged into the internet. You can actually specify a gateway name, so you can change that from the default if you wanted to. You can add a description and the address of the location of where the gateway is going to be put, plus also the latitude and longitude if you wanted to as well. You can even add the local IP address here as well, and the wider area network IP address. Now I'm going to leave it as a DHCP client. What you need to do next is to activate the ProSoft Connect service. This will generate a 5-digit code, which you need to copy into your clipboard. The next stage is to go to a quick question, is it a local or remote IP? It can be both. It can be whatever you specify. So you need to go to ProSoft.io. Then the next thing to do is obviously sign up for an account. Very simple, first name, last name, email address, organization, and phone number. And then simply sign up. That to generate your account. The account then will send you an email to verify, and you can click on that to then activate your account. But as I've already signed up, I'll log in. I'm going to go to my UK demo unit here, which is plugged into my Rock Automation demo box, but this could be for any PLC. Now this is the portal itself. Now as you can see, there's no gateways added at this time. So what I need to do next is to click on the little light belt here, which will tell me how to add or activate the gateways here. There is also help all the way along. So I just need to paste that code into the box here and click on activate. This is going to go away, find the gateway, and it's going to populate here. So I can now change the settings if I wanted to, but as this is all set already, I'll just leave those there. This is the IP address to the computers when it's tunneling. So this is the IP address of the VPN connection itself. Now I already know the IP address range of my box, so I'm going to put a start date here of 10.1 and put an end address there. That could be any address you wanted to. Add the subnet mask and apply those changes. The configuration has been saved. Now what I need to do here is set up the VPN client. Now there's no software to install here, so what you need to do is set up the Windows VPN, which you can either do by just clicking through the help settings here. So it'll tell you exactly how to do it. Click on that, so it explains in about 15 steps, but I've already done that. Or you can actually go to run a configuration script, which is downloaded over here, to download it for Frankfurt, which is where the local server is based. So I'd run that script, and then it would appear here in the usual places for the VPN networks. Then the next thing I do is invite team members to my project, which I just need to give them a description of what it will be in the message, then send them an email, first name, and I can assign a project role so they can either connect only to it, they can configure and connect the gateway, or they can be a project administrator. So before I do anything else, I'll just quickly show you the portal itself. So here is obviously where you can see the gateways. There is also a map version. So again, you remember if I put in all the details. So you can actually zoom in and see where the actual gateway is. So if you have multiple gateways, then obviously you know exactly where they are on the map. You can also see it in table format, as well as exporting all the project information into a CSV file. You can also change the team members in your project, so I can add or delete people, or edit their access from here as well, because I'm a project manager. And also I can see all the activity of the portal itself. So you can probably see here that I've done a few test runs in the past. Also, you can see all the alerts on the gateway, any kind of alarms, etc. that would appear. They would all appear here. And then obviously you can see all the project settings. Now this is the area here where you can actually change the server if you wanted to. Now we've got servers all around the world, so North America, California, Singapore, etc. But I'm going to stick with the Frankfurt one. Also, you can see the project type we've got here. We've got our standard VPN connection, but we've also got our persistent data network where if you needed to have an always-on network, it's a very simple way to configure multiple sites together to communicate to each other. It's based in the cloud, and it's like having a sort of virtual switch in the cloud. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Can be used for water companies, electric companies, basically wanted to get information from remote areas. And then finally, if you do get stuck, you can have the sort of instant chat window with our tech support team here. So I'll go back to my gateway. And what I could do now is simply connect to the service. But what I want to show you first is to use it with the vLotto system. Something I'll just quickly show you here as well is also you can change the firmware from the portal itself. So if there was a new firmware update for all the gateways, then you can use this portal as a sort of centralized management system to update all the firmware, the gateways, etc. as well. So of course, from this portal, you can also access all the IP address ranges, etc. And what I want to show you here is you can also change the IP address range of the tunnel that we're going to connect to. So you can just remember that IP address range, and I'll show you the reason why later. But what I want to do next is to basically enable vLotto, which is our, we call it virtual lockout tagout. Basically, this is a way to add additional security features to the Connect servers, which could be ideal for larger organizations, or even just those who want to have a record of who's accessing the network and when. So you notice here I've added in my email address. I'm not going to click on login required because I'm already logged in. So if I go back to the gateway, I need to apply the changes, sorry. It's hidden behind here. So I can add comments as well, so you can find out who did what, why, enabling the motto. So those are applied. So if I go back to, anything else I can show you up here? Yeah, if I go back to the gateway itself, you'll see now that the connectivity button here has got a padlock on it, which means that it's locked out. Nobody can access the system now until it is granted access. Sorry, this question just come up. Will this work between a PC and other device, but what about connection between two remote PLCs? This will work between a PC and another device, yes. This will also work between two remote PLCs. You can use it simply by doing the PDM. The PDM will then be connection between the two remote PLCs, and they can talk to each other. Or if you look at the user manual, you'll find there's a way to do it as well in that as well without you actually using the Connect service. So, as I was saying, you'll notice here now that the Connect button is now locked out. Nobody can access that system until they actually request access. So if I click on that now, you can actually see here, this is me requesting the access now. So it must be granted by the administrator, which is myself, which could be a shift supervisor, IT department, whoever's in charge of the machine itself, OEM, system integrator. So I then need to put a duration of the time that I want to add on here. I can increase or decrease the time, and then also provide a reason why. So demo of the system. So that then sends a request to the administrator. Now, you'll see here again, the access is pending. So what I'm going to do while I wait for that is to quickly remember to plug it in. So I need to go to my email. And wait for the email to come through. Here we go. Right, so you'll see here that it's now had a tunnel request for the access to it here. Now from here, I can either approve or deny it. So for the demonstration, it tells me who is applying for it and the reason for it, and then I can either approve or deny it. Now, if anybody of the team of people that you've assigned to approve it denies it, it'll basically lock it out. So I'm going to approve it for the time being. And go back to the portal. Now it tells me that I have granted access to the user. And it now, if you notice here, that the padlock has changed to open. A question on the chat is, how many nodes can the device see on the LAN Ethernet side? It can see up to 32 devices. So what I need to do next is click on the Connect button, which generates a single use key. I copy that to my clipboard and then go to my client VPN, connect. Paste that single use key into the Connect service. And then I have connected to it. So now I'm connected to it. So if I go to our links, for example, because I'm using a Rockwell system, but this can easily be anything else. So Tier Portal, Unity Pro, anything. And as it's a layer 2, I can actually use my discovery services. So I can actually go out here onto an Ethernet IP link. So I've not installed any drivers. And now it's actually browsing for the network here. So it's not found a gateway here because it's actually on loan to a customer. But actually now I can start to drill down into all these lips. I can actually see all the I/O, etc., which is on here. If you remember this IP address, I can also go to my web browser, 1.1.2.87. Actually see now the web page of the PLC. Now this could easily be a web HMI, it could be anything. So now I can actually see everything which is on the network. So I can remotely upload, download configurations, etc. Now something else you can do is you may have an instance where the machine, it needs to be used, it's not convenient at this time, so you can actually deny the link. Add the reason, so machine required. So then I can close the link down, and you'll notice here that it's actually shut down the link. So if we go back to my portal again, you can see that the access has been denied on here. So if I wanted to regain access, I would need to request it again. So it's completely shut down the access for you. And all the activity here is recorded in a non-editable log, as it were. So you can see here me writing the reason, accessing the system, and it's closed, and request was denied. There are various sort of extra features you can do there for remote pings, etc. But that is basically the secure remote access solution using vLotto. Now, go back to the presentation. So, in summary, it's highly secure. It's using the secure connection here, same as your internet banking. It's using 256-bit encryption. We regularly penetration test it, and also we are aligned with NIST and the IEC standards. There's no VPN server configuration required. There's no PC software. So you're eliminating a lot of the sort of watering hole attacks that can happen when you have to go to a website, download the software, and then configure it. It's very simple to use, as you just seen. You can access it anywhere from any PC with a internet browser, and it's highly reliable. It's using Amazon Web Services, which is using micro-container architecture, so it is very, very reliable system for you. As I mentioned before, we've got two products. One is the 4G, 3G modem, and the second is the one for LAN-based only. The standard plan, which is included with the units, will give you 1 GB of data, 2 standard projects, and 2 concurrent connections to different gateways from different PCs. And then it would also use 2-factor authentication, which is email-based. Basically, so when you access the system, it'll send you a link on your email to say, do you want to access it? The one I showed you earlier was using the 3x3 plan, which basically gives you more data, more standard projects, and also 3 concurrent EasyBridge connections, so to the same gateway. So you can have multiple people in different locations being able to collaborate on a project. So you may have the drives person looking at it, you may have the HMI expert looking at it. It also has 2-factor authentication, which is using Google Authenticator, which is on an app on your phone, and also has all the vLotto, the Lockout, Tagout facilities as well, which is the enhanced management capabilities. So I'll just quickly show you the projects you can have. So you can have multiple projects. As we've only got one gateway here, but you can have different gateways assigned to a different project with different members of a team in the same project. So it's very good for sort of larger organizations. So the benefits of the Power User Plan, it's more than just additional data. It does give you more projects, so you can use it very, very usefully in a large number of accounts or customer or even gateways to separate them out. You can have concurrent connections to the same gateway, so with greater collaboration. It does have the advanced two-form factor authentication as well, with the Google Authenticator from your mobile phone. And you can also invite existing users and other people to join your project, so you can actually collaborate more on supporting a customer. And it also has enhanced customer management capabilities as well. Okay, that brings us to the end of the presentation. So I'll open it up to any sort of questions. There's one on the chat. Is there an annual fee for hosting cloud, or is it a one-time live fee? The service that comes with the unit is free of charge. It's included. As I said before, that would give you 1 GB of data per month per gateway. So if you have multiple gateways, then you have 1 GB of gateway data per that gateway. So it's very, very good for those sort of integrators or OEMs who want to have a more sort of casual way of accessing the system when required. But for those people who need to have more data or greater collaboration, then we recommend the user plans. Hopefully that answers your question. Are there any other questions? Okay, one more question here. Well, thank you very much for your time today. As I mentioned before, it's going to be a brief presentation. It's just to show you basically the portal, how easy it is to use and how simple it is. The question here is for the people, will it take internet from other sources? Basically, yes, it doesn't have to be a PLC, it can be a PC, and it can be used with other sort of internet sources as well. So it can be used with IP cameras or, as I said before, web-based units. Is it fast or remote control or what? Basically, the speed depends on your internet connection, whether it's over 4G, but it is quick, and it can be used for a wide variety of applications. Next question is, do we have access to a demo unit if you want to try this out? You can have access to a demo unit. The units themselves are relatively cheap, so simply just buy units. If you wanted to evaluate the free service, obviously it's included with the unit. But if you wanted to evaluate the user plans, there are those available for either 30-day or 60-day evaluations as well. Quick question on the 4G unit. Do we need a SIM card, special SIM card to get access? No, this can be any sort of SIM card, not necessarily a fixed IP address SIM card. It can be any SIM card from a supermarket or anywhere basically, because all you need to have is access to the internet. If you've got any further questions or need to have any additional information, go to our website. It's very content rich. Go to the product web page, and from there you'll find all the user manuals, software, firmware, everything that you require, plus also some easy how to configure the gateway type videos. So that's all available. So unless there's any other another question that come through now. Is it permanent online connection though? As standard SIM providers have a fair usage policy regarding permanent online connections. Again, that would depend on the SIM card. If it's just simply for remote access, you probably won't go up to your allocation that you would have. A lot of SIM providers actually have what they call an always-on facility, where the data is always on. They may scale it back on speed-wise, depending on how much you use it, but they tend to be in the sort of 20 gigabyte connections, which is a lot of data for secure remote access. Now, you probably only get near that kind of if you were using in a sort of remote location, always on scenario, but even then, I don't even believe you get anywhere near 2 gigabytes of data. So again, it's depending on exactly what you're looking for. So yeah, there are different SIM cards out there with always on options for it. And so yeah, just contact your SIM card provider, basically, and it's very straightforward. Okay, thank you very much for attending. The presentation will be made available to you shortly, as well as a link to download a recording of the presentation. If you need any further questions, please contact your local ProSoft distributor or your local ProSoft office. Thank you very much for attending.